Administrator for the City of McLean and Chisholm. Clearly there seems to be a theme this morning. I'm here to speak to you with regard to funding for the fire services in the county, and I'd like to read a brief statement, point out some things that may not have already been pointed out by others who spoke ahead of me. First of all, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to speak. It's a very difficult issue. You all are charged with the responsibility to protect our monies, all of our money. The work you must do to honor this responsibility is very arduous, especially given the economic time we're experiencing. In reading the most recent email from you, Judge, I note that current justification for allocation to the fire departments is based upon shrinking unincorporated areas. I take that to mean geography. I suggest, with all respect to this logic, that it is skewed. Why not decide on the basis of actual population instead? We all know that this entire county is growing in population, while, as you say, unincorporated area is shrinking. I don't think for a moment that the Commissioner's Court has a lack of respect for any of our peacekeepers, fire and police alike. That is the message that will be received if you cut their funding, thereby making the performance of their commitments that much more difficult. It will be seen as a lack of respect. You can use any means you want to justify the actions you must take. We can all present our own specific cases. We can talk about what each fire department contributes to the puzzle. At the end of the day, that would result in each department bashing the other in an effort to justify their respective position. I feel that serves no collective purpose at all. Each city in this county is blessed to have their own mostly volunteer fire department. Each one of those departments possesses its own area of expertise and equipment, which only enhances the whole for serving the county through an existing spirit of cooperation that we all enjoy. I don't know about the other cities, but I can tell you that it is my intent to present a proposed budget for my mayor and council consideration that contains a long overdue increase in contribution that the city makes to our volunteer fire department. With the rising cost of doing business, this recommended increase will not meet the totality of the needs of the fire department to maintain the mandated equipment that serves not only our city, but a very large unincorporated area as well. You've heard the numbers that the others have said about their increased calls. To date, we've handled 75 calls in the county area. 68 was the total last year. Closing, I'd like to point out that your offer to let the fire chiefs decide on how the pie is to be distributed is in fact shifting the responsibility from the court to them. This is a bitter pill that you all must enjoy, because that is what you were elected to do. So I would say consider all the information you can muster, such as geography, population, equipment, public safety, etc. Whatever you choose to do, please don't cut contributions to those whose very purpose it is to keep the wolves from our doors, to protect us all from whatever danger comes our way. Cut their income, and you cut their ability to obtain the necessary resources to do the work they are committed to do, mostly voluntarily. Common sense tells us if cuts must be made, public safety should be the last cut to be considered. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Is there anyone else that forgot to sign up who'd like to speak? All right, the first item on the agenda is to discuss action approving the appointment or the reappointment of members of the Commissioner's Court to the Emergency Service Corporation Board and all related issues. This is brought forward because there are two members on the board whose term is expiring, and must be replaced or reappointed. Do I hear any volunteers? Mr. Magnus is not here, so I'm sure he's volunteers.
Good, I'd like to make a motion on Mr. Magnus if I had to. He is, and for those who may not have been at the other meeting, Mr. Magnus has served on the board, and because of his schedule, asked somebody to leave. So I would make a motion that I feel able to be Mr. Green to continue and Mr. Bailey to take Mr. Magnus.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion. We have a motion and a Second item on the agenda, discuss act on approving the appointment of Nicole Jones to the Rockwall County Library Board and all related issues. For those of you in the audience, the library board is composed of 9 members. Each commissioner may appoint 2 members to the board, and the judge may appoint 1 member. They are on terms of service, and in the case here, Commissioner Magnus's precinct is missing 1 individual, and that is why we're discussing the appointment of Nicole Jones. Is there a motion?
We approve this gentleman's appointment to the Rockwall County Library Board.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Passes 4-0. Third item on the agenda is discuss act on changes to the employment classification for the part-time assistant district attorney and all related issues. Ms. Culpepper?
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners, I have, and Your Honor, I have spent a lot of time talking to you about this subject matter, so I won't reiterate a lot of the same information. But last time I did present facts and numbers illustrating the need for the JP prosecutor position to be increased from a part-time position to a full-time position for next fiscal year. We spoke, and I've spoken to each of you about how that, the significant need for that position. The judges have signed a petition saying that they need that position to be increased. We've shown them how we can pay for that position for next fiscal year and how that position can generate additional revenue for the county in the form of bond forfeiture, litigation, and collections. The judges have asked for that position. I can tell you that I am required to staff each and every court by law. If they ask that they increase their docket, we've got to have a prosecutor there, and right now we simply do not have the staff to effectively do that. Today, I am asking the court to make the position full-time now instead of waiting for next fiscal year to start. I explained, again, I explained that significant need that is right now, and I can also tell you how I believe that we can pay for that and how it also can continue to, or not continue, but how it can generate additional revenue in this time of shortfall in the economy. Last time I presented numbers, Commissioner Bailey, I believe that you had asked for additional information from the Treasurer's Office and the Auditor's Office regarding the budget and how we could pay for the position. I have talked to both the Auditor and the Treasurer's Office and asked them to run numbers for what it would cost to increase the position now, and that would be for the next 4 years until the next fiscal year starts. It will cost, and this is from the Treasurer's Office, and the Auditor's Office has reviewed these numbers and concurred. Nod your head, please. All right, good. It will cost $10,222.26, which includes the salary and all benefits for the next 4 years. I mean, for the next 4 months. I also asked them to run how much would be left in our salary line for this fiscal year, and that's only the salary line. And they have all confirmed that we have more than enough to cover that increase in the part-time position to the full-time position for this fiscal year. And shake your head again, gentlemen.
While you're shaking your head, that is also part of the ending balance that we do, the beginning balance, correct? Shake your head.
And I have also talked to HR and confirmed these numbers now. So Commissioners and Your Honor, I would just bring to the court that this increase from the half-time position to the full-time position would be completely covered in the budget that you've already given us for this fiscal year. If approved, that position could start working immediately on bond forfeitures as well as increasing time in JP court, in juvenile and misdemeanor courts. One of the commissioners asked me if the bond forfeiture situation was a short-lived one, if it would be a continuing source of revenue starting now. As much as I wish people would show up for court on every occasion, it's a fact of life that they will not. So yes, this is a continuing source of revenue. We've shown that in 1 month we were able to generate in excess of $60,000 in 1 month. Again, that won't continue every month, but we believe that every month there will be a significant generation of funds. So, and that money will go to the general fund that can pay for all of these different programs in this time of a tight economy. So we would ask that you increase that position now. Are there any questions?
I'd like to make a motion that we increase the stated position from a part-time assistant district attorney to a full-time, as requested by the DA.
Is there a second?
Second.
We need to have some specification with that extra to be effective immediately. Or do you have?
One, ten, effective immediately, you
Yes, sir.
cover it financially.
Absolutely.
Does it make it more efficient to do it the next pay period?
We can do it, but it's going to be best to give us a specific date, and I would ask the district attorney to execute a personnel change notice with the effective date, so we've got that, it's clean.
Judge, we would ask that it be effective tomorrow, and I believe that can see it done today if it passes.
That will work.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second, any discussion?
Question. Has this item been before the court?
It has,
And when was that?
3 weeks ago, a month ago,
Is that one good?
a month ago. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Passes 3-1. Next item on the agenda is discuss act on approving a memorandum of agreement with Texas Department of Public Safety to grant funding for remote records management system project and set forth the obligations of the county and all related issues. Sheriff Evanston.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I'm here to talk about the memo of agreement that you just discussed. John Thatcher has reviewed this document, and I don't think he has any issues or questions or concerns. Okay. Just a little bit of history that the Commissioners know, but for the benefit of those in the audience that might be interested. We've been working on this project for about 2.5 years, and if we, and this memo of agreement is nothing more than a commitment on the part of Rockwall County to move forward with this project. It doesn't mean that we're going to do it. It just means we're giving a commitment to DPS that we are going to do it, or we're committed to do it. And then if we decide to back out or the funding is not there, then obviously it won't happen. And I will share with you that I thought as recently as 2 weeks ago we had this thing done. But there are some issues that we're going to have to resolve, and is there a possibility that we might not get all the funds that we believe that we were going to get? There are 3 host sites that have been designated in the state of Texas: Victoria County, Polk County, and Rockwall County. If we were to accomplish this task, Rockwall County would be the benefactor of $296,000 in grant money to replace our records management system, our computer-aided dispatch system, and our jail management system. And this project, really, the objective of this project was to create a pilot program for data sharing, which would hopefully someday be statewide. But we have run into some glitches that we have to get straightened out, hopefully in the next week or so, because this money, we have to have a commitment. Everybody's going to participate, have to have a commitment to spend this money by September the 30th. So we're not that far away. We thought we'd already have it done by now. But we also, because I know there is some questions and some concerns. And let me just also say this, that the host site in Rockwall County includes 6 counties: Rockwall, Hunt, Robertson County, Limestone County, Johnson County, and Hill County, 6 police departments, 3 out of Robertson County. There's a possibility that we will, I think clearly we'll have Cumbia PD, which is a small police department to our east, Roy City PD, and Heath DPS is certainly a possibility in that regard. I know I've had several discussions with Chief Garrett, so that very well may happen. But anyhow, I have Jack Justice from Southern Software here today to discuss the interface capability between this system, if it is installed, and the district clerk's office, district attorney's office, and county clerk's office, or any other agency within this county that needs to have interface with the sheriff's office and access to that data. Jack?
Jack Justice. I'm the regional account manager for Southern Software in the state of Texas. Even though I'm an account manager, I'm actually by trade a system engineer. I've got a degree in applied physics and a degree in computer sciences from Johns Hopkins University in Maryland. And prior to my employment at Southern Software, I worked on a lot of large-scale software projects, including I was a team leader for the guidance, navigation, and control software for the International Space Station project. So I'm familiar with how to deal with large-scale problems and software issues. And I realize that you have some concerns. I was the IT manager for Hill County prior to working for Southern Software, and we went through a 2-year-long process of trying to replace Ableturn, which I'm sure that you're familiar with. And I can say that it's not an easy task. It's not an easy task for Tyler Technologies to upgrade their own software. So it's not an easy task for any vendor. Eventually, you are going to have to change from Ableturn because they're no longer going to support it. And the last I heard was there's about a 3-year window before you will have to replace the current system that you have now anyway. And unfortunately, one of the reasons that the grant was one of the major ways that a county could be considered for the grant was that their software did not have direct interfaces with Texas. There's a data sharing program called TDEX, and then there's a national data sharing program called INDEX. And unfortunately, Tyler Technologies, Ableturn, and NetData's older system, which is on the same platform, neither one of them are 100% compliant with TDEX or INDEX, and so that made any one of those customers eligible to participate in this program by default. So we realized that there is a majority of the counties that are participating in this program are with Tyler Technologies or NetData at this time, and there are going to have to be some interfaces to be done. The grant does not cover the cost of interfaces right now. There are basically 3 choices that you can make, and there's 3 choices that we've seen throughout the state during the 4 years that I've worked for Southern Software. In Kaufman County, they chose us in the police side, but went with the Odyssey upgrade on the court side. They decided at that time to not have a direct interface, but we installed systems in the courthouses, the clerk's offices, the JP's offices, so that they would have access to the law enforcement data at any time they needed it. And the sheriff's office controlled whatever privileges needed to be given. Another county that's participating in the program, Polk County, has chose to go with a project that the Association of Counties is funding, which is called the Texas Connect Project. And under the Texas Connect Project, the Association of Counties is building interfaces with the different vendors in the state because during their, I'm sure that you've heard of their project where the Association of Counties has tried to develop their own countywide system. Well, one of the fallouts from this system was they discovered that counties could not get competitive pricing on replacing their current software when they had a countywide system that was controlled by either Tyler Technologies or NetData, and they could not get a competitive price because there were so few agencies or few vendors in the state or in the nation that actually did a complete package that would go from every office to every office and every office holder. And that was the issue that I had in Hill County, was that we were required at that time, because our commissioners decided that they only wanted to focus on companies that did all offices. So we had a very narrow list of people that we could select bids from, and I think the list was 4 people.
Mr. Justice, let me interrupt you one second. When you mentioned Association of Counties,
Yes.
are you referring to TAC or CUC?
Yes.
TAC.
Okay.
not Urban County.
the Texas Association of Counties.
Okay.
That's the Texas Connect project.
Yes, ma'am. And Joel Green is the program manager for that project. So, anyway, our hands were tied in that we didn't have the ability to go out and look at vendors who specialized in different agencies. And one of the things in Hill County, our tax office had switched from using Tyler's older tax program to using True Automation. And so they were able to break free. And there are different offices in the court system that can actually operate very well independently. However, the courts and the law enforcement can't operate independently. So there has to be some kind of interface between the two levels. Well, long story short, we chose a new company out of Cameron, Texas, that had a complete package, web-based, latest and greatest program. And immediately after the Commissioner's Court, when they accepted the contract with Chandler Information Systems, the president of Tyler Technologies went out and met with the president of Chandler Information Systems, and 2 weeks later, Tyler Technologies bought them out, and 2 weeks after that, we got a letter from Tyler Technologies saying they were no longer going to support the Chandler Information Systems. So it is a really tough situation to be in, to be required to stay with one vendor in the entire countywide system. There's very little room for competitive bids. There's very little room for finding a product like Southern Software. We only do public safety software. We've done public safety software since the early 80s. We're in 600 agencies around the southern United States, but we don't have our own court product because we don't have court specialists. One of the things that Southern Software, one of the reasons that I did go to work for them is every one of our project managers is a person that worked in that field. The person that is our law enforcement package project manager is a retired police chief. The person who's a CAD project manager is a retired communications director. And so we put people that were experts in that field in charge of how the software is supposed to operate. And it makes for an extremely user-friendly system. So anyway, back to the interface. Texas Connect is building an interface, and NetData and Tyler Technologies have agreed to participate in the program, and Southern Software has agreed to participate in the program. Right now, we're finalizing the interface between NetData and Southern Software for Polk County, and the next one on the list is between Tyler Technologies and Southern Software for Victoria County. The other option is if you decide, the third and final option is if you decide to go with a complete replacement of your justice software and your law enforcement software. We have a company that we partner with on the justice side that is a company very similar to ours. It's a smaller company of about 75 people who target the same size customers that we target, and who are in the same market area that we are in, and that company is Justice Systems, and I have some flyers from them that I can link with you guys if you want to investigate. And with Justice Systems, we currently have an interface to connect our two programs together. Then the last question I think that the sheriff asked me was about data conversion. Data conversion costs were built into the grant program originally, but DPS took them out because they had so many people wanting to participate in the program. And we use a company called Whitebox that does the data conversions for us, and they are extremely familiar with Tyler Technologies ABLETERM, and that actually converted data for Tyler to move from ABLETERM to Odyssey, because one of the problems that we had in Hill County was a year and a half later, they still couldn't convert our data from their old legacy platform or their own ABLETERM platform into their new Odyssey platform. And there's so many variables that can happen in a data conversion, particularly with the net data software and the Tyler software, one of the biggest issues is that name data is one field in the old system. And depending upon which clerk entered the information and what the clerk's policies were at the time that they were in charge of the office, name could be entered either first name, middle initial, last name, comma, first name, middle initial. They could include aliases or nicknames or middle names. And so there's a large diversity of possibilities in the name field. And when you try to convert that data, it recognizes that as an individual person every time. And when we converted the Kaufman data, they had 17 years worth of data spread out over 3 different vendors' packages. And they had a Mary Smith that was in the system as 800 separate entries of Mary Smith, different spellings of her name, different iterations of her name, different addresses, different social security numbers. But when it was all investigated, it turned out that these 800 Mary Smiths were actually one Mary Smith. And so that's where the difficulty of trying to actually give you an exact quote on what a data conversion will cost. I can tell you that Kaufman County was the most expensive we ever did, and it was $110,000. And the cheapest that we ever did was $2,000. So there's a large gap between the top and bottom. But with the data that we're looking at for Rockwall County, it would be in the $40,000 to $50,000 range for just the sheriff's office.
This is in addition to the grant money that we spent on the actual program itself?
Yes, if you choose to convert the data. There are other companies, or other
Do
agencies.
we have to convert the data to use the new system?
No, you do not.
Why do we want to convert it then?
If you're going to do away with the old system and you're afraid that your vendor might take their data or take your data and go away, which has happened to a couple of counties in the state, then you would want some protection over not losing your historical data. We have found that most agencies prefer not to convert their data and keep their old system available, not updated, but available to look up old records. There are other things that you can do, but depending on what kind of data that you want to put in. If you're only worried about converting names or entering name data, one of the best training aids is to take name data and during training go in and just start entering name data. Or hiring temporary clerks is a lot cheaper than paying an engineer to go out and do the conversion. I'm an engineer and I just know that they're expensive, so.
You said there was an estimated 40,000 for just the sheriff's data alone. Did you look at a possible number for the other county data?
We would have to get a sample of the entire county data network for the entire county system in order to get a complete bid or a complete estimate.
But that's the piece that you would contract out to Justice Systems, right?
Data conversion, we contract out to Blackhawks.
And then the public, or the justice part of it goes
Is
to
Justice System.
Justice Systems.
And that's no relation to you?
No. My name is spelled Justus.
Okay, so what we have here is we have a system that the DPS is going to introduce for test. They offered to let Rockwall County be one of the base stations. The software is worth about $300,000, which would be included in the grant money,
Yes, sir.
but it would not include the maintenance cost, which would be about $32,000 a year.
I believe it was 25.
25 plus if you want visibility, it's another 7, so it totals 32.
Yeah, that's what,
Okay.
if you include the crime reports in Command Central, the 32.
So crime reports is a separate function that, or a separate program that gives the public an interface into the records. It's a web-based application that the public would be allowed to put in their address and see what kind of crimes have happened in their neighborhood. They can see what the crime rates in different neighborhoods are. You can look
Buy you some of those, please.
Yes, sir.
So it's 32,000 for maintenance costs if you include this other option that the county would be responsible for.
Yes, sir.
The issue is, your software does not talk to the software for the rest of the county. The county is not happy with the software they're currently using, and the sheriff is not happy with the software he's currently using. Your software will fix his problem, but it doesn't fix the problem of the rest of the county. So the rest of the county has to go to another system, and those two systems have to talk to each other.
Yes, sir.
And what you're telling us today is that an interface can be done,
Yes, sir.
but you don't have it yet.
It can be done. It's being done by the Association of Counties County Connect project.
Is there a working model?
Not really sure. Not with Tyler, I don't believe yet, because Tyler it hasn't come up that they've been requested to do with Tyler.
But you're saying that your company, separate from the sheriff's application, you can develop an interface from your software to the new software that the rest of the county might get. Your software will not do what the rest of the county needs.
No, sir.
An interface can be developed in between the two.
Yes, sir.
But we don't have time or money.
Our system is built on Microsoft SQL, which is an open database format.
Right.
And because it's an open database format, doing interfaces between them is extremely easy. Unfortunately, with AbleTerm, it's a proprietary database that it's not easily interfaced into, although Odyssey is a SQL.
Lisa, what's the software that the clerks, the county and the district clerks like now?
I think it was LGS that they were interested in.
LGS? Does that ring a bell with you, LGS?
Yes, sir.
What about interfaces between your software and their software?
We've never been asked to do it. We will do an interface to any vendor that you ask us to do.
Spoken like a true systems engineer.
We're not a county clerk software developer, and so because of the needs of our customers in Texas, every customer that we have is going to have a need to interface with each other, with other vendors, and it's in our best interest to build those interfaces.
This is a very competitive issue out there right now, and the reason I was making retrospective attack in urban counties, I know the urban counties in the process right now of developing a system itself, and we're members of them, and it's being trialed in Dallas County right now. Are you aware of what they're doing?
Yes, sir. When I was in Hill County, I was on that board of Hill County, so I'm very familiar with the project that they are under.
It's the company that was mentioned by